Today's Wednesday, it's the 16th, just checking, yeah, it's the 16th of October, it's 2024. It's knitting day, so Anita and Angela have gone off to the knitting group, and I'm left to my own devices, so I've just come down to the beach here in Portals Nous. So it's the little beach, and well, there isn't much of it left, it's sort of disappeared. This is a beautiful little bay, and we've probably seen us walking along the sand here and swimming here in recent weeks. But we've had a couple of storms, and yesterday we got rained off twice actually. We went down to San Telmo and had a little walk, but the rain started to come down, just a few spots, but we decided that if we walked any further we might have problems. So we packed up and started to drive back home, and on the way back it seemed to stop raining, brighten up a little bit, so we called into Camp de Mar. But as we were walking around Camp de Mar we didn't actually get very far. Phil's looked in a few shops, I went down to the sea, and then it did start to rain, so we had to call into a bar. And it didn't look as though it was going to stop, so we made our way home. But all this weather has caused the sea to get a little bit agitated, and this little beach here rarely has big waves, and today it most surely does. These are really big waves for this tiny little beach, and this tiny little beach has virtually disappeared, so the parasols are right up against the wall, and the water's edge, well, that's almost up to the wall. I think the sea's actually getting up to the wall on some of the occasions. Still people trying to find a bed, and some people actually using them. The bar's still here. So we get closer to the end of the season. It's only a couple of weeks now left, and there's a few people in the sea, but I'm not going to be joining them today. This is the Donna Beach Hotel. It's funny how that's absolutely transformed from what it used to be. I think it was called the Agua Beach Hotel before. It's a long time ago. I might have that name wrong, but I think it was. And well, it's transformed. It's a very swish looking place now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little walk along that coastline there and walk all the way along the edge, and I'll be stopping as I go, and I'll be taking some photographs as I do that. Lovely waves. I almost do want to get in there. One thing you might notice is that right by the edge there's an awful lot of seaweed, and that seaweed will eventually, I think, get dumped onto the beach. In fact, in that corner there's a whole mass of seaweed, so in order to get into the sea you've got to make your way through that. I can't see Anita doing that actually. And I don't know if you'll be able to see in the distance, but the waves are actually crashing against the rocks. Beautiful. The temperature's gone up again, so it's now mid-20s, so it feels really quite warm. There is a gentle breeze, as you can see from the flag there, and because of the storms, the wooden decking that was allowing you to get down to the sea has been brought up onto the land here. Some of the seaweed's been removed, but by no means all of it. So the people in the hotel have actually got a very small beach to go to, much smaller than usual, as the sand has been washed away. I do like these moody seas, and as long as I can watch them from a little bit of a distance, watch the waves crashing against the rocks. And I've just been standing here and I've just taken a few photographs and just enjoying the power of that water smashing against them. Children obviously down there, you can hear them screaming maybe. They're enjoying the splashing around of the waves. It's a nice, lovely terrace to sit and watch the world go by, but I'm actually going to go up these steps and into dangerous territory. To get to the top of the steps, just turn, have a look down. There's the beach. Now we're going to make our way around to the headland. This is a rather uneven path, and it does have advice here to say that it is dangerous, falling rocks, and it's a high risk area that bits might fall off. There is no gate. I don't think I've ever seen a gate here, and there is a rail, but I wouldn't lean on it too hard, so I'll just make my way along. It is very warm. Just love that beach. This was where we first came to live, actually. Just very close to that beach. It was about less than 100 meters from our front gate. So while we have seen moody seas like this before, they're not that common. Considering we haven't had any really big storms recently either. I guess if there has been storms, they've been somewhere out at sea. And on the other side you can see the sea smashing against the rocks. And over here as well. She's created some rock pools down there, which may be interesting later on. Just over here, looking at the path now, you can see how uneven it is. There have been attempts to put concrete down, and that's gradually got broken, and the storms just make it a little bit more broken. And this is an area of buzzy bees. It's actually quite interesting to see, absolutely thousands of them, but you walk through and they don't bother you, you don't bother them, they don't bother you. All the way along here, I'm sure you can hear the sea smashing against the rocks. It's a lovely sound. From the cloudy days we had yesterday, it's now turned into beautiful blue skies. Many boats out there, but one's just come past and it was doing a little bit of rocking and rolling. Don't think I'd like to be on that. to go up a little bit. And you see here they've done a bit of a job on the paving below. And there's a big wave coming in. Steps to go down here. See just here, so some of the path has got eroded away, and now that leads down to some steps. Makeshift things that can get you a little bit closer to the sea. Plateaus out a little bit here. The island over there, that's the island off the military base. Yetas. Now, head around the coast a little bit. More concreted area. Tree that hangs down here. Somebody conveniently painted it red just to warn you that you might bang your head. And then a little steeper bit. It's still very hazy. Looking out to sea and looking over towards Palma and beyond onto the Playa de Palma and Arenal, it's very, very hazy. I can hardly see the land on the other side of the bay. And here we've got another fence and another warning sign, just to let you know how dangerous it is. It's up to you, isn't it? It's a personal thing, I think. Just have a little walk around the outside. Always remembering never to get too close to the edge. That's the edge there, by the way. And there are one or two more boats out as we get further round. No boats out this way. That's Portals. And in Portals we've got the new lobster club over there. Sea's looking a little bit more murky than it would normally be, but that's understandable considering the waves. And in the distance we've got Palmanova. Just come and have a look to see how busy the beach is. And more of a question, is there a beach? Well, there's a lot less of a beach, I think. A lot less of a beach. And looks as though the sea has more or less got up to the cliff face there as well, and this side. So maybe I won't be going along for a walk down the bottom there. When we first came to live in Mallorca, pretty much there, all those pebbly, that's how the beach was here. There was no beach to speak of. That's where they pumped the sand, and the cliff was a lot more dangerous then. They've now covered it with a steel mesh to keep any big rocks from falling down below, and hopefully protect anyone who's walking along. A lot of people do walk along there. Might get your feet wet today though. It's just a beautiful view here. I'm going to make my way up now, up to the church there. Which, to do that we have to go this way. And here we do have a gate. I don't know whether it ever gets closed. Or we have steps that would take us down to the beach and to the bar that's down at the bottom there. Not sure who's running the bar nowadays, but it used to be the church, and they used to donate their profits to local causes here to help fund homelessness, so to try and provide homes for people. It's a bit of a tricky path to go up. It's just a dirt path, and it does go right by this cliff edge. You can see how the cliff edge is pinned down here, and the wire mesh, it's holding it all in place. Basically, we've got to find our way up there. That's not moving too close. And conveniently carved out a little path to encourage us to walk this way. I don't think I would normally have done this in the past. I think it was easier to go by the cliff edge. Probably more sensible. Gives us a commanding view over the sea. And just look at the way when we have a storm. This is what it does. It makes these ruts, these holes in the ground. And if we're not careful, that could lead to more land slippage. And now up we go. It's quite steep here, and this is rock. So no ruts being created here. There's the church. This is the church of Portals Nous, and the door's always open, at least in the daytime. So you're very welcome to have a look around. It's a very small church that serves the local community. Small inside, it's quite big on the outside, isn't it? So I can find a bit of shade when I get to the top. Good morning. Oof. A bit of a climb. Bench here is in the sun, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Again, we've got the big waves. And port. So we can get back down. Another way to get down to the beach there is that way. And again, some rickety steps to get you down. There is a gate again, which I don't know if it's ever closed, but there is a gate. I think there might be one at the bottom as well. I'm going to be going up this way. Could go that way, or could go this way. And that's the church. And outside they do have an altar, and it was used a lot, I think, during the COVID times. It looks as though they still use it, I think, so they can have outdoor masses here in the wonderful climate that we have. And there's a gate there as well. I'll walk past the entrance to the church and you can actually have a little peep inside. As you can imagine, this is quite a popular venue for weddings. This is the inside of the church. And as you walk out of the church, you come to the terrace and this magnificent view to have your photographs taken. Well, I'm going to leave the church now and make my way around. I'm going to go and pick the girls up in 20 minutes. So I just need to make my way back. This area here used to be, many years ago actually now, I think, used to be a bar, restaurant actually, quite a nice restaurant with a lovely terrace, not particularly any indoor seating, but a lovely terrace. And was very well patronised, and the land of course all owned by the church. They control what goes on. At some point they mustn't have liked what was going on, so they closed it. Across the way there's a door there. That used to be a restaurant as well, which had just a few seats down the side, and we used to go there many years ago. And actually the people who owned it, the man was named Steve, and his wife was Yolanda. And they did actually use an area out here, and they had like a barbecue area, which was great fun. And it used to be quite free to drive down here. There was never a gate. You could just drive and use the car park. I suppose modern times they now have to restrict all of that. So I guess this gate does get locked. A little sports centre here, which is municipal. And again, as far as I'm concerned, it's relatively new. So I used to come here, and there was just a little park for the children to play in, and a red ash playground where you could play football. Now it's been developed into quite a nice little sports complex. There is, on the other side, there is a little playground, and it's right next to this school, which I'm sure they take advantage of this, not having facilities particularly of their own. This is King Richard III School. For over a year there was work going on this hill. That's all now completed, and yeah, you can drive up and you can drive down. I'm going to walk on this path, which is fairly new, and takes the high road. All along here is the side. This is the school, King Richard. That's takes you up into the village. That's a fence. That's down there. That's there's a children's park just here to the right that I was mentioning. And if you go a bit further down, that's the gate. You could see as I was walking up the rickety path. The path for me carries on down the hill, and looks like I can go down on either side. I think in the past I would have always gone down on the far side. I can't remember there being a path on this side. Maybe there was, I just never used it. Lovely villas around here. Which at one time would have had really amazing views, and then things got built in front of them. So when we came to live here, this block of flats that didn't exist. As the buildings to my right, which you can't see now, but they weren't here either. We watched that being built and dreamt. It was a dream. And this is the back of the Donna Beach Hotel. So if I'd gone on that side, I would have to walk up the hill that way. And this side, I walk this way. This road doesn't go anywhere other than to the houses that are down here. They must have really amazing views, I think. I'm going to walk on the road. I don't think anything's going to be coming down to run me over. Otherwise I'm going to have to walk next to all the bins. I'd rather give those a miss. Now down to the little beach. One step at a time. When we first came to live here, one of the first places we lived was down here, and we've got a little baby, and pretty much every day Anita would walk up this hill pushing the pushchair, and I don't think there were, well, certainly no steps like this then. I don't even think there was any pavement as such, so she'd just be pushing up the road all the way up beyond the bridge there, right to the very top. Very steep. It's the back of the hotel. Portals. This actually is an entrance to the hotel. Didn't realise that was there. Very much one step at a time, this is. The building there at the bottom is actually now an estate agent. But that used to be very much a tourist shop where you could go and buy a beach ball or a lilo and get yourself an ice cream, a packet of crisps. Only ever opened in the summer, just for a few months, and then closed down for the winter. So then it was closed for quite a while, and now it's opened up as an estate agent. What a prime position to have an estate agent. You might do a little bit more than estate agency, mind. Nearly to the bottom now. And the waves are still bashing against the beach. And this all used to be a square which had a lot more parking. There's only a very few spaces, but this was all a car parking area. And then they tiled it all over. And there used to be a bus route as well. I used to come down and I used to catch the bus somewhere around here. It used to take me to school, and it was a very well timed bus. Just got to school on time. As long as the bus was on time, that was it. It might be a bit rough out there, but there's still quite a few people who have been tempted to go into the sea. And actually have a yellow flag. And not often we see anything other than green flags, but today we've got a yellow flag there, meaning it could be a little bit dangerous, so just be very careful. Now I'm back to where I started, and I've had a lovely circular tour. I love to see the sea so rough and listen to the sound of those waves. But I now have to go and pick the girls up, so thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.